Hello. Hello everybody, I am the Traveler and welcome back to the Winds of Change. Now I'm gonna load up from where we left off yesterday. Before we start that, I want to mention that I was probably wrong about my initial assumption about what purity and corruption meant. I thought corruption and purity meant more along the lines of my actions as like, you know, uh, a leader kind of thing. My, like, whether I took bribes and all that kind of stuff, it went down to 10. Hold on, wait, before you start that, it went down to 10? I thought it was at 20. Anyway, I am going to, because it's showing now. Okay, anyway, I am going to continue on with what I've chosen because I agree with, for Tom that it's time to unite with the rest of Alestia, and independence has worked for thousands of years, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue working. Doesn't mean that somewhere down the line this same thing isn't going to happen again. And times change, and as much as we want to preserve tradition, we also can't let that want for preservation stifle us and keep us from changing and evolving. And those who do not learn from that past are doomed to my gosh, I can't speak ever. Those who do not learn from the past mistakes are doomed to repeat them, is what I'm trying to say. So I think this is a great learning opportunity for Valar North, and I think it's time for Valar North to unite with the rest of Alestia. So I am going to continue with the path that I have chosen, and if that continues to bring up the corruption, then we'll see what that ending has in store. But for now, it looks like we are having a vision of sorts. Also, this episode is going to be shorter than the last two episodes because I have to record a lot today. I have to record today's episodes and tomorrow's episodes because I'm not going to have time to record them tomorrow. So, today's episode, I'm going to spend an hour recording, give or take, but each episode is only going to be about 30 minutes or so. That's because I have to do so much recording today. Anyway, before I can even comprehend what happened, I'm whisked away from Peregrino. This isn't a vision. Those don't happen so fast after falling asleep. This is different. I rub my eyes and try to take in more of my surroundings. Where am I? It's so dark, with architecture unlike anything I've seen. There's nobody here. I'm all by myself except for that. At the other end of the room, it pulsates and glows. As I look at it, I feel something burn deep inside of me. Not in a bad way, no. This is more like a burning desire. It's calling out to me. It wants me to get closer. Click the idol to walk toward it. I don't know if I want to. I take one step forward, keeping my eyes on the mysterious object. As soon as my foot lands on the ground, pain courses through my body. I'm brought to my knees. It's almost like it's slowly draining my energy. When it subsides, I stand back up, but the desire hasn't gone away. I need to get closer. I need to know exactly what this thing is. My burning curiosity trumps for any care for my own well-being. Even though I object to such a mindset, I keep moving forward. It's almost like my body is moving on its own, without my input. I definitely don't want to now. I take another step and the pain returns to my body, but this time it's worse. I'm brought to my knees and I can't seem to get back up. It's tearing me apart. I pant heavily, unable to move as it continues to harm my spirit.
Stop.
I immediately fall to the ground as I hear the voice from behind me. But it's not a bad thing, as I gain full control over my body. Whatever was controlling me, they had put a stop to it. I turn around and take steps toward them, grateful. I could tell the farther away from the object I was, the better. But when I reach this mysterious person, I'm not prepared for what I see.
It's almost instinctual now. Interesting. Sorry for not being here right away. I didn't know you'd come so fast. That means things have slowed down on your end. I see.
The triumvirate, I can tell right away, or at least one of them, since I can only see one cloak before me. I start to panic and reach for the blade of Exodus.
No.
They wave their hand forward, and I can no longer move. Letting out a chuckle, they start walking toward me.
Even now, corruption grows within you. It can flow from the most noble of actions. But is that corruption what you truly want? There is no way to discern the consequences of your actions. You act instinctively, much like before. You do what you think is right. But what is right, and what is pure? Well, those are two different things.
They strike a pose, as if they're lost in thought.
You know who I am, or at least, what I belong to. I speak not for the triumvirate, but of my own accord. Not that this would go against the wishes of my subordinates.
Subordinates? Does this mean I'm in the presence of the triumvirate's leader?
That power within you is a truly wonderful thing. So much strength, gifted to you by the realm of spirits. But you have to ask yourself, is it truly a gift? Do you act in Alessia's best interests, or in the spirits? Until now, everyone in Valinor assumed the two aligned. But things are changing. They're starting to make a push.
I strain myself, trying to move, but to no avail. Wait, so the game actually recognizes my choices and this corruption that is a really cool mechanic. But god damn it. Now you're making me question myself again. Whatever they've done, they've taken over control of my body.
What purpose is your journey if it ends in complete corruption? Keep that in mind as you stride forward, and make those tough choices. Many of them breed corruption. The pursuit of strength, for example. Before you go, I did call you here for one purpose.
They motion to the idol at the back of the room before waving their arm. As the ability to move returns to my body, I stumble, failing to balance myself. How is it possible to do this? Can they manipulate spiritual energy without the blade? I regain my balance and immediately turn to look at the idol.
It's beautiful, isn't it? There's never been a more pure form of corruption. You seek to dethrone us. Isn't that your goal? In that case, remember one thing.
They tilt their head, and though I can't see their face, I assume they're smiling. With a final wave of their hand, I collapse to the ground, and my vision fades away.
The only thing that can destroy pure corruption is purity itself, embodied.
I hear their words, but I seem to exist in a void of nothingness. I don't understand what just happened. I'm only left with a multitude of questions. My actions can influence the purity or corruption of the power inside of me? That doesn't make any sense, but then again, maybe that's what they wanted. They'd want to confuse me, to try and push me down a different path. Of course they'd want to scare me away from decisions that would harm their reign. Or would they? corruption, or purity. Is the achievement that I just unlocked. God damn it! So, almost immediately I found myself back in Peregrino. I got no sleep, and thanks to what just happened, I doubt I would on any other night. The lingering fright that this made happen again was almost crippling. The lingering fright that this made happen again. That's what I read. The sun shines through the window, illuminating the room. I can see how covered in dust everything is. Overnight patrons must be rare. As I scan the room, I notice that either section is dust-free, for time is cleaning. Oh hey, good morning, Kairos. I saw all this dust and couldn't help myself. Sure, it lost me a few hours of sleep, but I don't care. How about you? How'd you sleep? I didn't sleep. Not one bit. Oh, but I don't blame you. The beds at home are a lot more comfortable. I heard Ulrich talking outside. We're skipping breakfast. Well, that's not good. When we're all ready, we're heading to Mazeo. I think you can tell what I'm planning, right? We'll finally be able to share some apples. He smiles and his ears perk up. Skipping breakfast didn't sound all too appealing, but I'm sure Mazeo would have no shortage of cuisine. Someone knocks on the door to the room a few times. After hearing no objections, I slowly enter the room. It's Valessa, and she lets out a loud yawn before speaking. Oh hey, Fortin. I was gonna look for you too. Glad to know I didn't end up wasting time. Morning, Valessa. Sleep well? I suppose so, all things considered. There's a whole host of questions I want to ask as soon as we meet Damek. I expect to get answers. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hopefully as the elder, I can get to talk to him too. I can get him to talk. It's a bit different when it's a political ally asking. Makes sense, I guess. Maybe I'll give you my list or something. Then it'll be a matter of Mazeo-Valinor relations. Not a bad idea, actually. Either way, I expect to know a lot more in a few days. I can't wait to meet Damek and the rest of the Rebel Alliance. So you ready to go? Ulrich and Pro are waiting out front. I guess the outlook is pretty close to Peregrino. I'm good, unless there's something else we need to do. They both look at me. I guess it's my choice. It might be a good chance to get some private time with my friends, but Ulrich and Pro could get impatient if we waste time chatting in Peregrino. Either way, I know one thing for certain. I shouldn't tell them what happened. The Triumvirate taking me to their chambers, and personally, would they even believe me? I should let it process for a bit longer and see if it happens again before telling anybody. I pause and they await my next move. Purity and corruption. That's what that fist meant. Over the course of the game, you will make many important decisions. These will increase a background stat known as purity and corruption, a representation of how you carry yourself in the world. It also determines the nature of the power you hold within, and your values as a leader. You can keep track of your numbers on the save screen. Choices will not be marked by their alignment. Think carefully before making important decisions. You won't know their true nature until afterwards. Icons are placed in the game world after important choices. These will help you learn what has changed and reflect on your choices. Dialogue and key plot events will change depending on your alignment. This party banter is affected by your choice to keep Peregrino as a tavern. You chose to keep Peregrino intact, remaining as a tavern. I chose the exact opposite of that, actually. Should I go back and change that decision? Just so that I can keep to the purity? Can I even go back at this point? If I went back, I'd have to change both of those decisions. One, to keep Peregrino a tavern, and two, make Valessa my my choice for elder. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can go back I want to end this game on a completely pure level. Even though I think I made the right choices, I want to complete the game with purity. So these are the auto saves, quick saves. Today is the 29th, so it would have been yesterday. Hold on, I'll skip over this in just a moment. Just give me a second. Okay, I am back to this point. Um, I I'm gonna do this just because I did it already, and I don't know if it's going to change the outcome of anything else by having not asked them. But I'm back to this point. Um, and I already know Ulrich and Pro are going to disagree with me. But because I wanted to keep, I said at the beginning of this I wanted to keep the purity route, and now I understand what the purity and corruption actually are. Um, I'm gonna go back and change both of those decisions, and I know for Tam is not gonna be happy, but if I promote Valessa to Elder, that means for Tam can become my scribe. So either way, he still shouldn't feel like that third wheel out anymore. So let Peregrino stay as it is. I couldn't steal Iron's home from him. It was wrong. We'd have to find another way to keep Valinor safe. Forcefully seizing property would give off a bad image. We're above that. We're not like the Triumvirate. Are you serious? Come on, you can't just leave your village defenseless. Now, Pro, you're the one that brought him into this. We need to take his word as law. That's how it works. Thank you so much, Kairos. This calls for a celebration. Iron runs off and starts to prepare some drinks. Pro crosses his arms and looks at me with a scowl. You just met, and you're already a thorn in my side. Oh well, I just hope you don't come to regret that choice. If you don't, then expect future generations to hate you. Oh well, I guess I should look on the bright side of things. At least they can have a drink while the bitches burn down again. His sarcasm was noted, and his joke was far too soon. He shrugs at Oleg as he walks to a nearby table and sits down. A few moments later, Oleg follows suit. There's a time for a meeting. To Valessa and for Tam is... Okay, so all of this should still be the same. Oh yeah, I forgot. So this conversation is going to be different because now I'm on the purity route. So I'm going to...
Zamira, can I talk to you for a second?
For a second?
Of course. What's up, Aaron?
I want to thank the seer for what he's done. Defying Domek's orders and letting me keep Peregrino. They deserve something. But I don't know what to do. I was thinking of offering him a permanent room. You know, to stay here whenever he wants. Should I offer unlimited drinks as well? Zamira, are you paying attention?
Does this offer of free drinks extend to your teammates?
I suppose it would.
All right, I'm sold. Here, I'll take you to see him right away. I'm so thirsty. This is gonna be amazing.
Zamira, whoa! Let go! I want a gift for them, not you.
Don't worry, he'll love it. Everybody, Aaron is giving us free drinks. Come over here. Let's celebrate for Peregrino.
Oh no. Is he serious right now? There's no way I have enough for everybody.
Yeah, you heard right. Free.
Oh man. Okay. Okay, I'm back to this point where I choose either one of these two, and I've already saved in the third slot where my purity has gone up and my corruption is not. So in this save, I'm gonna choose Valessa as the elder, since that is the purity route that I want to go down the entire time, not the corruption route. Even though I agree with what Tam and I agreed with both of the other two, apparently that's bad. So, Valessa, I elect you as Valinor elder, even though I, on a personal level, disagree with you. I need to side with Valessa. She was right. We only got involved in this because of our alliance with Mazeo. If we maintain our independence, Valinor would be safe and sound. Not only that, but our culture and hierarchy were important too. There'd be no place for seers and scribes in the rest of Alestia. After this was all said and done, Valinor would remain strong and free. Yes, I knew we were on the same page. I can't thank you enough for this, really. I was so scared that we'd lose Valinor. She practically runs towards me and hugs me. Vertam rolls his eyes and looks elsewhere. I'm unsure if it was because of my choice or the hug. Hey Vertam even gets a promotion too. As your scribe, he can fill the gap I'm leaving. Oh man, my head is so full of ideas right now. I'll have to discuss things with Damek more in depth. This is so cool. When we meet him, it'll be a meeting of nations. Since I'm our envoy, I'll work on sounding as professional as I can. Sir Damek, it's a pleasure to meet you. No wait, that sounds stupid. Sir Damek. Hey Valessa, calm down for a second. This means I get to replace you as the scribe? You'd have to give me some last minute training, you know. Oh right, I guess you are a little rusty. No worries, I'll take good care of you. Things will go swimmingly, trust me. It's clear that she's jubilant. I don't think I've seen her this excited in a while. This would change the entire way she approached our journey. And I just want to thank you even more, Kairos. You decided to keep Peregrino the way it is. I'm grateful. That's a huge step toward our continued independence. But it seems like we have our work cut out for us. I'm a little upset that you didn't pick me, but I'll get over it. At the end of the day, I'm not just tagging along anymore. The position of Elder has only been open for a day, but I've been training to become a scribe for my entire life. Maybe, in this case, things worked out for the best. He gives me a wide smile before walking towards the door. But before he leaves, he turns back and looks at both of us. You coming, Valessa? Oh, sure. Just give me a few more minutes. I have a few more things I'd like to talk about. Fair enough. Good night. After he leaves, Valessa lets out a loud sigh. She presses her back against the wall and closes her eyes. For once, the future doesn't seem so uncertain. I'm sure I'll be put in a lot of complicated situations, Kairos. Your wisdom is just as important to Valinor's future as I am. Remember how you went to Milas today, instead of telling me? If your visions involve my leadership or Valinor's safety, please come to me. Otherwise, I'll train for Tem to take good care of you. He's in good hands. She exits the room, what I can only describe as the utmost confidence. She exits the room, I think with is supposed to be in there. Her posture, her steps, it all displayed something like a newborn resolve. And for good reason too. We just decided the direction of our nation's future. I make my way back to bed and practically collapse on it. Hopefully I get enough sleep for our journey to the Outlook. Surrendering to heavy eyelids, I lose myself to the night. It isn't much longer before I fall asleep, but much to my dismay, I get no rest that night, for the fates had something else in store. So that's going to change what the Triumvirate tells me. Is it going to change how I react to the idol? Before I can even comprehend what happened, I'm whisked away from Peregrino. This isn't a vision. Those don't happen so fast after falling asleep. This is different. I rub my eyes and try to take in more of my surroundings. Where am I? It's so dark, with architecture unlike anything I've ever seen. There's nobody here. I'm all by myself except for that. At the other end of the room, it pulsates and glows. As I look at it, I feel something burn deep inside of me. Not in a bad way, no. This is more like a burning desire. It's calling out to me. It wants me to get closer. Okay, so I still have to walk towards it, even though I don't want to. I take one step forward, keeping my eyes on the mysterious object. As soon as my foot lands on the ground, pain courses through my body. I'm brought to my knees. It's almost like it's slowly draining my energy. When it subsides, I stand back up, but the desire hasn't gone away. I need to get closer. I need to know exactly what this thing is. My burning curiosity trumps any care for my own well-being. I read this fine the first time. Even though I object to such a mindset, I keep moving forward. It's almost like my body is moving on its own, without my input. Okay, sure. Take another step, the pain returns to my body, this time it's worse. Brought to my knees, can't get back up, tearing me apart. Pan heavily, calm my spirit.
Stop.
Alright. I immediately fall to the ground as I hear the voice from behind me. But it's not a bad thing. As I gain full control over my body, whatever was controlling me, they had put a stop to it. I turn around and take a step towards them. Grateful. I could tell the farther away from the object I was, the better. But when I reach this mysterious person, I'm not prepared for what I see.
It's almost instinctual now. Interesting. Sorry for not being here right away. I didn't know you'd come so fast. That means things have slowed down on your end. I see.
The triumvirate. I can tell right away. Or at least one of them, since I only see one cloak before me. I start to panic and reach for the blade of Exodus.
No.
They wave their hand forward, and I can no longer move. Letting out a chuckle, they start walking towards me.
So you remain pure, even now. Interesting. I expected to see the seeds of corruption within you. Is it possible you know? No. That can't be right. There is no way to discern the consequences of your actions. You act instinctively, much like before. You do what you think is right. But what is right, and what is pure? Well, those are two different things.
They strike a pose as if they're lost in thought.
You know who I am, or at least, what I belong to. I speak not for the triumvirate, but of my own accord. Not that this would go against the wishes of my subordinates.
I've had to solve this. I'm like, I'm gonna keep going with the choices that I've made. And then I get to this part, I'm like, fuck. Time to go back and change all my choices. Subordinates. Does this mean I'm in the presence of the triumvirate's leader?
That power within you is a truly wonderful thing. So much strength, gifted to you by the realm of spirits. But you have to ask yourself, is it truly a gift? Do you act in Alestia's best interests, or in the spirits? Until now, everyone in Valinor assumed the two aligned. But things are changing. They're starting to make a push.
I strain myself, trying to move, but to no avail. Whatever they've done, they've taken over control of my body.
What purpose is your journey if it ends in complete corruption? Keep that in mind as you stride forward, and make those tough choices. Many of them breed corruption. The pursuit of strength, for example. Before you go, I did call you here for one purpose.
They motion to the idol at the back of the room before waving their arm. As the ability to move returns to my body, I stumble, failing to balance myself. How is it possible to do this? Can they manipulate spiritual energy without the blade? I regain my balance and immediately turn to look at the idol.
It's beautiful, isn't it? There's never been a more pure form of corruption. You seek to dethrone us. Isn't that your goal?
They tilt their head, and though I can't see their face, I assume they're smiling. With a final wave of their hand, I collapse to the ground and my vision fades away.
The only thing that can destroy pure corruption is purity itself, embodied.
And that's why I went back and changed my decision. I hear their words, but I seem to exist in a void of nothingness. I don't understand what just happened. I'm only left with a multitude of questions. My actions can influence the purity or corruption of the power inside me? That doesn't make any sense, but then again, maybe that's what they wanted. They'd want to confuse me, to try and push me down a different path. Of course, they'd want to scare me away from decisions that would harm their reign. Or would they? Almost immediately, I found myself back in Peregrino. I got no sleep, and thanks to what just happened, I doubt I would on any other night. The lingering fright that this made happen again was almost crippling. The sun shines through the window, illuminating the room. I can see how covered in dust everything is. Overnight patience must be rare. I stand up and stretch, letting out a loud yawn. As I do, there's a knock on my door. That means he didn't come in to clean. Come in. Without hesitation, the door swings open a few moments later. Valessa and Fortan enter, displaying a level of energy that makes me envious. It must be time to leave. As soon as we walked out that door, our journey would begin. Hey Kairos, good morning. We all stepped in a bit late, so we're skipping breakfast. Ulrich's orders, so there's no point in fighting it, right? Yeah, but our next stop is Museo. As soon as we get there, I'll buy us all apples. Man, it's been way too long since I've had those. A one-track mind as usual, but to be honest, it does sound tasty. Hopefully they aren't too expensive. So, are you ready to go? Ulrich and Pro are waiting out front. I guess the outlook is pretty close to Peregrino. I'm good, unless there's something else we need to do. They both look at me. I guess it's my choice. It might be a good chance to get some private time with my friends, but Ulrich and Pro could get impatient if we waste time chatting in Peregrino. Either way, I know one thing for certain. I shouldn't tell them what happened. The Triumvirate taking me to their chambers, and personally, would they even believe me? I should let it process for a bit longer and see if it happens again before telling anybody. I pause and they await my next move. And here's information. Yes. Okay. Oh. I was about to skip this. Heart-to-heart conversations. You now have access to heart-to-heart conversations. These are assessed just like regular one-on-one conversations, but are marked by a heart. Each character has a personal plot that spans the entirety of your adventure. Make sure to access these important conversations as soon as you can. These conversations can only be played once, and your decisions are 100% final. So that means even if I load the game up, I can't change it. These conversations they will impact your relationship with the character as well as their personal journey. Access enough heart-to-heart conversations with a specific character to unlock a special quest. These quests will earn your comrades unwavering loyalty, and if you wish, even something more. These conversations cannot be done out of order. You must complete all preceding heart-to-heart. You must complete all preceding heart-to-hearts in order to do the next. These are key in solidifying your friendships and pursuing romantic relations. Interesting. So I've got 2 heart-to-hearts, and that's it. So for Tom, you first. Access for Tom heart-to-heart number 1. Yes. It looks like something is bothering for Tom. I approach him and decide to ask what's on his mind. He seems a little startled, like he was indeed lost in thought. Oh, hey there, Kairos. What's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing, really. I'm just thinking about, well, everything. I got a good sleep last night, so that helped. Rather than being restless and alone with my thoughts. I'm just thinking about the future a lot right now. Most importantly, it's Valinord's future that concerns me. We know what Valessa wants to do as Elder, but I'm worried. I've read that nations fall due to a leader's stubborn nature. I'd rather see Valinor live alongside the other nations. It's a lot preferable to the concept of dying alone. I think it's time to turn some pages, you know? He gave me a nervous laugh before shuffling awkwardly. There's something else in his mind, I can tell. But it's not my place to pry, so I wait for him to speak. I know I look pretty well rested, but I'm not. This is pretty embarrassing for me to say, so don't laugh. Last night, I had a really bad dream. I almost cried. We were making our way down toward Museo, but we weren't with Fro and Ulrich. It was our parents. I kept telling them not to go. I knew they wouldn't come back. He clenches his fist and trembles slightly. But they didn't listen. They just kept going. I ran until my legs could barely move. Then I ran even more. It actually felt like I could save them if I only tried. Eventually I made it to the gates of Museo, or at least I think they were. I've never actually been there. But this was the worst part. They finally turned to face us. And that's when I realized something shocking. I don't remember what my parents looked like, Kairos. Their faces were a blur, almost like they were nobody. And that's really sad. They started to speak, but I didn't recognize their voices. Has it been so long that I'm forgetting my own parents? I tried so hard to picture them when I woke up. I couldn't. When they died, everyone told me they weren't really gone, that they'd live on forever inside of my memory. But even that's fading, Kairos. What happens next? Back at the Grand Tree, I said I wanted vengeance. I wanted to take down the Triumvirate to avenge our parents. But this dream was kind of like a wake-up call, you know? Why should I fight for something that doesn't exist? And better yet, something I can't even picture in my head. There are so many reasons to fight, all of them less selfish. So I think I want to fight for you. I want to make sure that you're safe and you survive this. When it comes to you, the entirety of Alestia is at stake. He continues to tremble, and I can tell he's fighting back tears. It's almost like this dream is helping him move on from his parents. He's becoming more grounded in reality, in the here and now. What should I do? Hug and console him. I take a few steps forward and wrap my arms around him. He gasps in surprise, and I notice his trembling come to a halt. A few moments later, I feel his arms return the hug, squeezing tight. I just missed him so much. He sniffles softly, like he overcame his imminent tears. At the end of the dream, when they turned back, I ran toward them and tried to hug them one more time. But I didn't feel anything when I did, and the dream ended. But right now, I'm definitely feeling something. And I know this won't end. I know you're not going anywhere. He hugs me tighter, and I do so as well. This is what I need to fight for, Kairos. The things that are right in front of me. The things that matter and the things I cherish. I nod and let our embrace continue. It seems to last forever, but I don't mind. I'd let it last as long as it needed to, for Fatam. Taking things further, achievement unlocked. Access Valessa Heart-to-Heart number 1. God, that's so sad. I can't even remember their parents. Or he can't even remember his parents. It must have been ages and ages ago that happened. He must have been really young. Valessa is walking from one end of the room to another. She looks annoyed. It could be any number of things, but I decide to talk to her and figure things out. As soon as I approach her, she stops in her tracks and lets out an exasperated sigh. You know, I thought things would be different. If you made me the elder, I'd have a big game plan, and I thought I did, but I realized how little I know. Obviously, keeping our independence is important, right? But I realized that's actually kind of insignificant. Our problems are here in the present, not out in the future. Maintaining our identity isn't a plan for the future. If Valinor succumbs to the cold, there'll be nothing left to maintain. I still believe we need our independence, but that can't happen for a while. So, against my better judgment, alliances might be necessary. I doubt we can find a way to save Valinor all on our own. We require knowledge from all corners of Alestia. Well, I didn't expect this. I guess I should have gone with you to begin with, shouldn't I have? So that might make things a bit tricky. Rebuilding a nation that wants nothing to do with you? Who would help me if I planned to give nothing in return? Sorry for rambling on. It's just a lot to take in. But being able to talk about it definitely helps. Thanks, Kairos. At the end of the day, being able to confide in you is great. I'm glad to help anytime you need it. Thanks, I appreciate it. I truly do. It's always good when someone has your back. Venting helps, as inconvenient as it's known to be. Inconvenient? I guess. I'm glad you don't mind, because we're dealing with pretty big issues. If I can trust you with this kind of stuff, I can trust you with anything. Which is great, because something tells me there's a lot more to come. It's hard to get a read on her next expression, but she shuffles about some more. Taking a few steps away from me, she rests her back against the wall. I step closer toward her, inching ourselves away from for a time. What am I going to do? I want Valinor independence, but I can't get it done. As we travel the world, I'll need help wherever I can get it. Connecting our nation with the spirits isn't something I can do alone. I have no idea how I'll get it done, though. Like I said, I'll need help from the outside world. What an odd idea. Alliances to achieve independence? No, people would just think I'm using them. In order to do this effectively, I'd have to keep it a secret, glean information wherever I can, without telling anybody why. I don't think that's a good idea. A book here, a conversation there, until I find a solution. At the end of the day, nobody would know what I was up to. But when our journey is over, I'd have the means to save Valinor. That sounds so unethical. Is it really? If it saves our nation? What do you think about all of this, Kairos? So obviously that's the I'm gonna do, yeah, be honest about what you're doing, Valessa. But just in case this changes my corruption level, I'm gonna save right here. Be honest about what you're doing, Valessa. Yeah, I guess you're right. If we got caught up, things would go wrong. Don't want to harm our chances of saving the world. Can you imagine if somebody did that to us? Helping us out only to use us for information? I feel bad for suggesting it, but at times, you know? Thanks for giving me your advice, Kairos. It's good to have some direction. I was feeling lost. I'm glad to know we can keep working together like this. Of course, the circumstances require it more than ever. And I'm glad we can rise to the challenge. I saw that italicized more, but I didn't read the whole thing. Above there with the 2 hearts instead of the 1. I did see that. And I'm glad we can rise to the challenge. That's good. Something tells me there will be many more challenges to come. But as long as we band together and talk it out, we can do this. With a right smile, I can sense a newfound determination within her. Something is there, something that wasn't there the moment we began talking. Let's get things moving, alright? Like I said, I have a better sense of direction now, or at the very least, my mind is more clear. That's all I needed. Letting out a loud sigh, she starts to walk away. I'm glad I decided to reach out to her like this. A clouded mind could affect her performance. If we wanted to win this, everyone needed to be resolute. I shouldn't miss any opportunity to bond with my friends and comrades. Their survival and future will directly relate to their morale. So does that change my morale? Nope. I don't know what's going to change that. But I am out of time for this episode. It did run on a bit longer than I expected to because I went back and made that change. But this isn't all I'm going to record today. So I'm going to do my outro now and then start a whole nother video for tomorrow's episode. So thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, give that like button some love. The link will be down in the description. As I've said, it is $20 if you want to play it. It is in early access, so expect the typos that you've seen. Expect, I don't know. I think that area was just not voice acted. I think it was just meant to be read because the Triumvirate Conversation was voice acted and other parts were voice acted that I guess those need to be voice acted? I'm not sure. But like I said, it's still early access, and you can actually find it under the early access section, or you can just type in Winds of Change into the search engine. But thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. I was about to say video, but my brain was trying to say video and episode at the same time. So episode, video. What do you name it? I don't even know. Thank you all so much for watching. See you.